Welcome to the LFC Transfer Room. Today we're going to discuss all the latest transfer news with me, your host, Charlie Sadif. I'm going to be joined today by the brilliant Mitch and the brilliant Dan. How are we, gents? This Sunday, it's been a bit of a corker here in the UK. Dan, I'm pretty sure it's going to be warm where you are.
Perfect weather right here down in.
Always perfect weather.
Always perfect, always sunny, always hot.
It's been lovely. Make the most of it all we can.
Yeah, make the most of it, exactly. I've been out all day, kind of hosting a street event. So yeah, being kind of baked, but it's been a brilliant day. Really, really good. Really enjoyed it. There's a lot of topics that are kind of thrown in the last kind of 24 hours, gents, and we really do need to go into it. Some interesting ones, some bad news, good news. Who knows? We're going to deep dive into everything that's actually happened, and we're going to kick off with some rather concerning, potentially interesting news that's come out of a number of outlets. And Fabrizio Romero, we know how reliable he is, but over the last 24 hours, he's kind of dropped a bit of a bombshell. Andy Robertson potential departure to Atletico Madrid. Now, Mitch, what were your initial thoughts when you heard the news, when you read it on social media? Was it kind of just paper talk, or because it's Fabrizio, there's kind of some gravitas behind it, and is that something that concerns you?
Yeah, I think you see rumours all the time, but Fabrizio's one that, we've seen it with transfers recently. He's usually bang on with it. And I was surprised more than anything because I didn't think of all the rumours I've seen of Liverpool players leaving, Robertson's not came up as of yet. It's just been, Tsimikas, he looked like Kerkez coming in. Robertson, he'll be there as backup. Tsimikas will be the one going out the door with interest from Leeds and stuff. So when I seen it, I thought, a bit strange. But then obviously he said that Andy Robertson seems keen on the move as well. And it's like, whoa, so this is not just a rumour. This is like progressing. Seems to be farther along than maybe we didn't know it was happening. Now all of a sudden it's like, he's interested. It could be farther along than first thought. It's a bit of a shock more than anything, though.
And the interesting thing, just only a few weeks ago, just really a few days after we lifted the title, Andy Robertson spoke about getting a new contract and working towards that and being here for the long term, maybe not long term, but short to medium term future for his sake and for Liverpool. So it kind of shores up the situation there at that position. We get a new guy that comes in, very, very young, very, very good, obviously for his age, and played at a very, very high level. But having the assurance of an old head in Robbo being, potentially, I would say it would look like he would be the backup and would have cup games, would have the odd league game, a lot of the Champions League games potentially as well. If you were to say we were going to go away to Madrid and you had Kerkez and Robbo both fit, both firing, who would you go for? Most people, I'd say, would potentially go for Robbo, and those are the things that we were looking at. Yeah. Dan, when you saw the news, were you surprised at the level that it got to in such a short amount of time? And would you say it's got it's been something that's actually been worked on for a longer period of time than what we've known already?
I wasn't really surprised at all. I mean, if we think about it, I think Robertson has put himself, well, not really himself, but it's gotten to the point where it's very similar to a Joe Gomez situation, a Kelleher situation, where you are super good, you're incredibly good, talented, regardless of your age, but you're just not good enough to start for Liverpool. So for me, it actually came in as a surprise that that there were no earlier reports linking him with a move away. It's been clear that many of our fans weren't completely happy with his performance this season. In fact, probably there's a 50-50 between the fan base that they wanted.
I'm in that bracket.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm in the bracket of for 18 months I haven't been happy with the performances. He came good second half of last season, but prior to that, he was at the scene of crime a lot of the time.
Yeah. And that's the sad part too, because when you have a legend of such level, the hate that they tend to receive, they are the very first one to receive it. Jordan Henderson, Georgino Wijnaldum, Adam Lallana, all these players come in that bracket where, okay, to the point where you're not good enough, it comes to where the fan base start just scapegoating on them. So it is not fair. I am surprised that these rumors started coming out way down the line. Now he's 31 years old. Regardless of where he goes, he's probably just going to perform for 1 or 2 seasons at this level. But yeah, I think the only reason we're hearing about this now is not because of Trent Alexander-Arnold's brother, is not because they share agents, is not because the probably Trent wants him in Madrid. It's because of the way that Robo has handled the situation. I'm pretty sure they've been working on a potential move throughout the season. You guys know that agents work throughout the whole year. I mean, it's just that he has kept this information quiet. He's been very respectful to the club in interviews, in comments. I mean, he recently commented on Milos Kerkez links, and he was like, "Oh, I'm now daft about the situation. We'll see what happens. I'm confident about my abilities. Regardless, he's going to come and improve us if he comes." So just the way that he behaves, he speaks, the way that he handles the information, he's been very respectful. So it wasn't really a surprise for me. And I don't really think that the agent has absolutely anything to do with this situation. I think if he moves, this move might be coming in a little bit late. He should have moved a year or two ago when he was still able to perform at the semi-top level for 1 or 2 years. And Liverpool should have replaced him with a top talent earlier. Nonetheless, if he stays, I'm super happy because he's one of our commanding presses in the team. But sadly, this is the moment that we have heard these news.
I'm going to disagree around the Tyler Alexander-Arnold kind of link. There's been previous. We've seen that with Jordan Henderson, who's on the books at the same agency. We've obviously seen the situation with Trent. Mitch, what are your thoughts about? Is there something naughty in regards to how the agent for these 3 players that we've seen over the last 3 years and their professionalism has kind of handled the situation and trying to exploit Liverpool and also the players' legacy at the club to drive a better deal, a bigger deal, and that's not something that we're prepared to do?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's hard because you don't want to just be like, yeah, it's definitely something dodgy. You want to, like I say, Andy Robertson spoke very, very well in all his decisions. He's not came out and slandered the club or made it even obvious he wants to really leave. But I think it's hard not to look at that when you look at, because of it's the common denominator, the whole Trent Alexander-Arnold situation, actually with Jordan Henderson and now Andy Robertson, and already it's like, oh, they don't want to, they want trying to get him for free, and then you can't help but think, yeah, but if they get him for free, then there's going to be a bigger sign-up bonus, which then obviously is money in his pocket for the agent. It does smell a little bit where you're thinking, if it can happen. Obviously, it's football, but the fact that he's been the agent of all the players and we're getting the same similar sort of thing, it's like it's got to be something. For me, it seems like there is something in that. I don't know. I can't help but think it's a bit, like I say, a bit nasty. There's something in there.
And that's what I'm thinking, because just going back and I'm trying to remember the Jordan Henderson situation. I'm sure there was a social media, some type of line that was being fed out that we were being told that we should release the player for free. That shouldn't. Yeah, it was actually when it was going to go to Saudi Arabia. It was a case that release this player, let him go. He's been really long. Good servant to the club and sold us that line, and you're seeing the same situation here with Andy Robertson. Now, again, from a player's perspective, in the twilight of their career, they're probably at the stage, I want the last big contract, and so fair enough, let's try to get that the best way I can. And so how can I do that? So by prodding the bear, biting the hand that feeds, and I don't agree with that. Now, if it does go, gents, what is? I know we're probably not money men, but would you expect us to at least get a fee, something similar to what we got with Trent, 10 million, something along those lines? Dan, what do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, we are talking about, regardless if he's 31 years old, we're still talking about one of the best left backs in the Premier League, in the best league in the world. Andrew Robertson probably starts for more than half of the teams currently in the Premier League. So, okay, he has 1 year left of his contract. Okay, he is 31 years old. But there's no reason why Liverpool should not cash in at the very least, 7 to 10 million pounds. Like I said, this is a very top talent. This is captain material. This is a player that can get you a number of assists. It's a player that does not have issues with fitness as much as other players are around this age gap. So we're still talking about one of the top talents in the world. In fact, if you guys come out and you pull out a top 10 or top 7 left backs in the world, Andrew Robertson is still going to be there. So I do agree. I do agree that he should at least, cost 10 plus million pounds. I don't know if Mitch agrees. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I say, with his age and the fact he's only a year left on his contract, you know we're not going to get 20, 25 million, whatever. But you'd expect at least, I'd say, around 10. Whether it be slightly under, slightly over, but around that, between 8 to 12 million, something like that. And I think that'd be fair with, as I say, his age and the year left on his contract. You're never going to get astronomical fees. But I feel like there's no way we should be even thinking about letting him just go for free. Because like I said, they use that line of, there was a great servant to the club. Yeah, they have, which is their job, and that's what they do. But that doesn't mean now, because you've done really well, we'll just let you off the last year of your contract and you can just go for free. It's not how it works. And much as some people would like it to be that way, it's just not. It is a business at the end of the day. It's as much as we love the football, there is a business element to it. And the club is going to go, not mate, you've done really well here, so we'll let you go. Which I think they've got every right to demand a fee for him. At least, like say, 10 million. I'd say around that would be fair.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, whoever the agent is, whoever the buying club's going to be, they're going to be dealing with the best money men in the game. Let's kind of be frank. In FSG, in Michael Edwards, in Richard Hughes now, they're the best money men in the business, and they will get the best deal. They got 10 million for essentially Trent being 1 month away from being a free agent. So if that doesn't tell you that they will drop it on the table and say, you are going to give us this. If you don't give it, then you're not going to have the player. And we could play the tough game with Andy and say, right, we will let you see out your contract. You will stay at the club because they hold all the cards. There's nothing that Andy can do other than throw his toys at the pram. But what's he going to do? What's he going to achieve? Damage the reputation, etc., etc. But okay, let's kind of park that. Let's say that he does leave and we do get a nice fee. Great. Now the situation, Mitch, is what do you do with Kostas Tsimikas? Do you keep him? Because we do need that second left back who is, he's capable when he comes in. He's done a really admirable job. But do you keep Kostas now?
Is the only reasonable thing to do, I think. There's really no other option because the only other player we have is Owen Beck, maybe, if I'm not wrong. And I honestly been super impressed with Owen Beck every time I see him on the pitch. Obviously, I don't think he's ready yet to make that first team jump. But if we do sell Andrew Robertson, we have no other option than keeping Kostas Tsimikas, unless you guys are comfortable with Owen Beck. What do you guys think on that?
Yeah, sorry, Mitch. I just asked you. What do you think?
That's the thing with Kostas. I think he's right. I think at the end of the season, start of the transfer window, I was like, well, Kostas will be leaving. But now with Robertson going, it's like, well, unless we get someone in. I mean, we've got already buying Kerkez. Are we going to buy another left back? I can't see it. So then you're in a situation where, like I say, it's Owen Beck or Joe Gomez filling at left back, which he has done before. But then it's a lot. Then it's all on Milos Kerkez. There's no real quality cover where you can go. With Andy Robertson, it'd have been like, if Kerkez doesn't play, Robertson will be fine. Whereas now it's like, if Kerkez was to get injured, you could put yourself in a situation where you're very short at left back. So as Dan says, it probably would be a case of you should just keep Kostas because we know he's capable of doing the job there if called upon.
And so, yeah, I 100% agree. Me personally, my opinion is I would keep Kostas. He's a relatively low wage in terms of the money, but in how he is perceived in the squad, really, really good. Everyone really likes him. Funny guy, always smiling on his face, regardless of whether he's playing or not. He's always got people around him. He's really good friends with Mo Salah, obviously, and all the other guys. So as keeping the morale up, I'd keep him because he's one of those good guys in the squad rather than the bad guys that we've had or seen and pushed on. So really, really good. I'm going to throw out a name, Mitch, to you, and this is going to go into that next topic. Hato from Ajax, really, really young centre back that actually can play left back as an option. Is that something that's going to be a bit more attractive to FSG, to the manager with Arne Slot, and how he would fit into this team?
I think, because I think we're going to need a backup centre off anyway. I think even with Ibrahima Konate, I think Kwanzaa may leave. So, of course, he can fill that centre-back position. But the fact he can play left-back, again, is an option. And about how young he is, the problem would be is how much he's going to cost. But I think that, with having someone who can do both, which we see a lot of clubs do now, have centre-backs that play left-back. We've not really got anyone at the club really that does that. But I think it would be a very attracting thing because, like I say, especially because of his age as well. I just think Liverpool look at that and go, you know what? He's a young talent. He can do a job at left back. He can play centre back, which is a position I'd say with Robertson going. I think centre back and left back we're going to need covers for that anyway. I do think it'd be one I'd be excited for and hope that the club would be going for because I do like the look of him. But I think they would look at that and go, you know what? That makes a lot of sense because it's sort of two birds, one stone with the fact you can cover in a left back and a centre back with one player.
Yeah, utility players, isn't it? So Dan, you were showing a picture of a particular person. Who was that for the people?
Hato, of course. And
so he was already on your mind. I'm pretty sure that you were already thinking about the player, and I'm pretty sure that FSG have already kind of sounded out the player because I'm sure, again, one of those things I'm sure about. He was in attendance at Anfield this past season to see us play whoever it was, but it was a good game. So he's good friends with obviously the Dutch lads. He sees his captain, someone that is an idol, I would suspect. In Virgil van Dijk, he's very close with Jeremy Frimpong, with Cody Gakpo, with Ryan Gravenberch. So that Dutch contingent that is going to be coming through, just going to make him feel better if he does want to make that push. As much as it is that the club may say, okay, we'll accept, the player needs to kind of buy into this. And so do you think this is an ideal opportunity and time for Gerald to come in, learn from Virgil, learn from Arne Slot, and really make the position his own in the future?
It's an interesting one because if we do end up bringing Hato in, and we take a look at his height, he's going to be probably the shortest center back probably in the Premier League. I think he's just 6 feet. That's it. So I think he's more suited for that left back role, but I cannot see him starting at Liverpool in the center back position. Okay, maybe in a back three, similar to Nkapie, how he does at Leverkusen. That works out. But if we bring Hato in 6 feet, not even 6'1", it's just 6 feet flat, I just cannot see it happen. So yeah, I mean, if we do bring him, I would love him more as a left back cover, but I wasn't feeling happy with Joe Gomez being 6'2" and being or center back cover. So even worse if we mentioned Hato being just six flat. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I don't think I ever seen the shorter center back at Liverpool, unless you guys remember anybody. I don't think even Jamie Carragher, he was probably 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, something like
that. So it is concerning. That's the only thing that is concerning me. But yeah, other than that, price tag is there. Like you mentioned, he's friends with all the Dutch lads. I would love it. I just cannot see it happen because he's too short. Similar to Nkapie. I cannot see Nkapie coming in because he's too short and we don't play a back three. And just because they could be potentially a backup cover, I don't think we're going to be spending 40 million on a player that's going to be a backup.
Yeah, I know. I totally get that. I think it's an interesting one because I was trying to break up his stats, and there was one here, but he was comparing fullbacks, and he was in the top 75th percentile for aerial duels, but that's fullbacks rather than centre back. So if I do get that in time, then I'll kind of bring that into the conversation. I guess it is going to be one of those other things, and other defenders kind of come into the conversation, but potentially one that's leaving and one that kind of for me could burn a little bit more because of the timing and how it's actually happened. Dan, I'm going to stick with you with this one. And there was chatter, murmurs, rumours circulating around a Ibrahima Konate and being tempted to, well, it's always been tempted to be joining Madrid, our good friends there in Spain. But they're supposedly looking at the next freebie that they can pick up, and Ibrahima Konate is the next one on the list, or top of the list of the ever-growing list of free agents next season. What are your thoughts? Generally, is it again really surprising that a club that act the way that they do, that force players to see out their contracts and make it difficult for Liverpool in this respect to try to shift them on? Is that something that really concerns you, or is this just chatter?
100%. If there's one player that worries me in the current team is Ibrahima Konate. Not just because of the Real Madrid links, but we have to date back at all those PSG links that they're been out there for him. I mean,
He has twerked for PSG for over the years, hasn't he?
Bad, and it's bad too because he doesn't even hide it. He admits being a fan of PSG. He admits one day trying to go and play back for in France. And so this is a player that he's very likable. I love him. One of my favorite players. But it goes back to the comments, when the public comments. He's not one of those players that keeps things to himself. I mean, he publicly said that he wants Dembele to win the Ballon d'Or, which fair enough. If you want that, cool. But keep in mind you're playing with one of the top 5 contenders for the Ballon d'Or in Mo Salah. There needs to be some sort of line of respect there. So that's a very worrying situation for me. I do think he has one foot out the door already, and the fact that we haven't really extended his contract yet does seem to me that he will likely be out either to Madrid or PSG. Nonetheless, I'm happy, not happy. I'm comfortable if he leaves because he's been very injury prone, regardless of his talent. Wherever he goes, he's not going to start more than 70% of his games. So we do need somebody that is more reliable than him. And again, for me, a little bit more respectful when it comes to public comments. Please don't bash me for that.
No, you're right. I think it's really fair to talk about it. Potentially it was lip service because it was on national duty and he has Dembele right next to him, talking about that. But Mitch, do you think there is a little bit of justified resilience to signing a new contract at Liverpool? I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate here because he's seen Virgil van Dijk, his partner, someone who plays alongside him, who in certain stages of his Liverpool career, he's been equal to Virgil for some sustained period of time. Could you see a future or conversation that he should be having with FSG, with the owners and the sporting directors to say, I am good, I am gold standard, class A centre back in the world, pay me accordingly? Do you think that's potentially something that has kind of irked him? Therefore, he's looking at Madrid and Parisian. He's a Parisian, so PSG is always something that's going to be on his mind.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think you're right. He has been. He's had times where you're looking and thinking he is as good as Van Dijk in periods, as you say. He's not Van Dijk, but I know what you mean. But it is that. It's the fact you're looking at Mo and Van Dijk getting them new contracts, especially with their age as well, which obviously comes into it. And he's probably looking and thinking, well, I think I'm on that level, or potentially going to be at that level very soon. I'm a lot younger. I've got a whole career ahead of me, and he does feel maybe he is a bit annoyed that they're not offering that kind of wages. Especially, like I say, it's hard from a Liverpool perspective with Real Madrid and PSG come knocking, because if he does go for free next summer, then the wages are not going to be an issue because they're not going to pay to bring him in. So they'll give him what he wants and go, yeah, come and sign. We've seen with Trent, Real Madrid have said, yeah, just run your contract down. We'll bring you in. There'll be no issues. And I think that's a situation I hope we don't get to with Konate. I'd love to see him sign a new contract, but I could see it happening. As you say, well, with PSG, they're not shy of spending money. But if they didn't have to put a transfer fee out there for Konate, then I don't think they're going to cut him short on wages either. I think they'll just go, yeah, we'll give you whatever you're asking for because you've saved us X amount in a transfer fee anyway.
if anyone ever gets hold of Ibrahima Konate's phone and can they just check to see if he's got Duolingo on there? Because I really, really would be upset if he's getting and having Spanish lessons. Because if he's doing it, all right, you know what? Any player that has that now, we need to vet their phone going forward as part of contract negotiations. I think that's only fair, gents, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, jokes aside, he is, and again, I'm going to play devil's advocate. If he does go, and we are looking at potential incomings into that position, more situations. And I think centre-back was always going to be something that we wanted to look at. We've already marked off and ticked Hato coming in and potentially being someone that we would look at. But there was rumours today that I've seen of another Argentine coming in, Spursy, Romero. Now, Mitch, I don't know if you've caught wind of this, but he's someone that suddenly has had his name. Now, the funny thing is, the person that kind of spelled this out was Indy Kalia from Twitter, infamous Indy Kalia, who may or may not be real, who may or may not have legitimate sources at Liverpool. But let's take it
incredibly reliable, please.
Oh, Dan, bigging him up, backing your boy.
He called the Bats deal a few weeks ago, didn't he? Before anyone else.
He did.
And then it came on. It's maybe we have to take it a bit serious.
Exactly. So let's take it a little bit serious and say, okay, Romero, there is potential there. Argentine, he's really close with McAllister. There's obviously potentially links to Julian Alvarez at the Atletico. There's dominoes that are going to be falling into place here. Now, Mitch Romero, is he a player that excites you, or is he just, hot-headed player that really doesn't fit into Liverpool?
Yeah, I think he can be. He has games where he's phenomenal, and you think if you've seen it more often, you'd think, yep, that he's a perfect centre back. But then he just goes on this way. He just makes a crazy run into midfield and just absolutely snaps someone. And you go, well, there's no reason for that. What have you done that for? His head just now. If you could get that out of him and calm him down, maybe. I mean, he's a very good player. There's no doubt. And obviously, he's won the World Cup. He's been good at Spurs. And not that Spurs have been amazing, but I think he's a good player. But it's just that he has that tendency to just lose his head a little bit, and you just go, well, do we really need that? If he comes as that player, as I said, if you could get that out of him, no problem. But right now, looking at him, I wouldn't be looking and thinking that's a sign I'd want to see right now.
And I think it's an opportunity, isn't it, Dan? If the opportunity came in for Romero, who is already accustomed to the Premier League, is a solid international already, would you take it for a good fee? Or do you see other opportunities like Inacio Diamande, Mike Gay from Crystal Palace, who would be costing a lot? I'm more interested in someone else at Crystal Palace who plays a little bit further up in the number 6, Adam Morton, but that's a conversation for another day. What would you be kind of happy to do in this instance?
So I do think that center back is one of those positions currently in the team we cannot gamble on. For example, we can potentially gamble on the midfield position because we have so much quality in there. We can potentially gamble on the wings because we have so many wingers or players that can play on the wing. But when it comes to the center back position, I don't think we should settle for somebody that's above average or a player that one day is world class and the other day completely disappears or makes all these crazy, just reacts pretty harshly. I wouldn't be happy if we do end up spending more than 40 million on a player like that. He's a great player nonetheless, but I think there's other players that are worth the money, such as Bastoni from Inter Milan. We also have the Borussia Dortmund center back is Schlotterberg.
Schlotterberg, yes. Yeah, Schlotterberg.
Exactly. So obviously I'm not the best with names, but I'm pretty good with a visual test. And these guys are super good in comparison to, like Romero and things like that. I do think he's going to have a great future. I could see him playing for a team like, Atletico Madrid or potentially one of the Chelsea, things like that. But I do not see him becoming the best center back in the world. Could be a hard take there. But, I'd rather spend 50, 60 million on a player that it's worth the money, like the one that I mentioned, than just going ahead and taking a gamble in a player like that.
It's going to be an interesting one. There's so much. We're only on the 15th of June. There's still, 6 weeks of transfer news to try to get through, and I think there's going to be a lot more conversation that we're going to have, gents, over the next few weeks talking about this. Now, I do want to kind of end on a positive note. So, Mitch, let's just kind of get really, really quickly. Milas Kerkez looks like he's going to be signing in the next week. Great news, and as transfer news is, and how this kind of world works, we're already on to the next thing. What's the new toy? What's the new toy that you would like coming into Liverpool Football Club?
It'd have to be a striker. Now, who the striker might be, there's a few names thrown about. I don't think the striker market is very congested at the minute. I think there is only a few that are available who you could get. I mean, obvious ones are Ekatike from Frankfurt, Šeško, and Gyökeres, and the names that are being thrown around at the minute. And I mean, personally, there's names out there you'd want, but quite impossible to get, like Isak from Newcastle. Perfect signing. But I've seen a lot of people say it to me. They've said, "Oh, we've got money for Verts. Why just throw that money at Isak?" I was like, "Because he's not available. You can't just buy players because you want to buy players."
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that are available, I think, looking at their style of play and everything, I think Ekatike looks like he could be a good signing. But it came out today they want £85 million for him, which is a hell of a lot of money. Now, apparently, we could get it between 60 and 70. Obviously, only 22 years old, 15 goals, 8 assists in the Bundesliga last season for Frankfurt. So a good young talent, and I'm excited by looking at it. I think it could be a good signing, but again, with that price tag, I'm not sure if that's where we're going to go. But it's definitely going to have to be a striker. With Darwin Núñez leaving, we have to replace him. We can't. I know Verts can play the false nine, but I don't think we can have Verts in the false nine or Diogo Jota as our only striking options going into next season.
I agree 100%. Dan, what do you think? Who would be your top pick?
It's very hard in the current market. I don't think there's anybody available. Just like Mitch said, we just because we have the money doesn't mean we can go and get whoever we want. I will love Alexander Isak. I will love Julian Alvarez, but they're just not available. I mean, these are players that just move into their teams. I mean, I think Isak probably has 2 years already in Newcastle, but Julian Alvarez just made his move last year. He's been there less than a year. So I think we spoke about this in the last stream. I would rather sign no strikers, keep Darwin for 1 more year, come the next year whenever Julian Alvarez or Alexander Isak are available.
I need to calm down. I need to calm down. My head will explode if we keep Darwin Núñez for another season.
No, but he's getting to the point where that's looking like a viable option.
Can I throw out one more option? No one's really spoken about him, and I think it would be it's a typical FSG move. Victor, and it's not the Victor Gyökeres. I'm talking about Victor Osimhen from Galatasaray, Napoli, wherever he is. I think that's a really, really good piece of business that we could do if we were to get him in. He has high wages, yes, but we can work that. We can work that. He wants to come play at a big boy club now. He can come and we will work out his contract. The fee itself is probably not going to be high. It's not going to be in Isak range. It's not going to be in Ekatike range itself. But what you're getting for the type of player is all the ingredients that we would like. He's very he's goal heavy, goal assists heavy. He just plays to the strengths that I think we would love to see, and I think he has kind of unfinished business with European football. I know he plays for Turkey, but he has unfinished business there. So, Mitch, what do you think about that little solution?
Yeah, I like him. Again, like I said, the wages would be the thing for me. I mean, I seen the other day from Fabrizio, I think said it that Al Hilal turned him down because of his wage demands. And if they're turning down his wage demands in Saudi, I don't know what he's asking for because as we know, they pay crazy amounts of money. So if they're saying no, I don't know what he could possibly be asking for. Because they just offered Bruno Fernandes $700,000 a week. It's crazy numbers over there. So, but as you say, if we could get the wage situation to a point where you could agree on it, it'd be a fantastic signing. Very, very clinical striker, very good, big, he's strong. I'd love to see him at Liverpool, but it's just the small matter of the wage situation that if we could get past, then it'd be a good signing.
Dan, yeah. I mean, Dan, you giving me the thumbs up. You were pretty happy with that, weren't you?
Sign me up, man. Sign me up. Everything that Mitch said, everything that you said, Charlie. For me, Victor Osimhen is the perfect striker. Strong, fast, assists, goals, everything that we need. The wages situation that can be sorted out. Like, people really think Mohamed Salah is earning 450,000 a week. No, he's not. He's getting bonuses that are taking his wages out of the water. We can work this out. For me, the only worry is why are there not other top clubs rumored to go for him, or why aren't they making the move? I do think there's something that is not set, that hasn't been like, or why is only Galatasaray the team that is actually being linked with him or made the move for him? I think there's something else that we don't really know, but that could just be a conspiracy theory. We could be going here for hours. I am so sorry, Charlie. So I'm gonna end it up like that.
That's all right. I think we've had a really, really good 35 minutes just talking amongst us. I've really, really enjoyed this. As I said, there's going to be loads and loads of kind of transfer links over the next 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it is, before the next season starts. Mitch, I'm just going to say thank you for joining us today. It's been fabulous, fabulous introduction to yeah, brilliant. I would love to kind of get you back on as the weeks go on. Let's kind of build up that relationship, and we'll just keep on talking about Liverpool, because it's going to be one of those things that are going to grow. I don't think we finish with Kerkez. I think we just keep on going. I think there's going to be more to come, and as long as we get the right sales, we will see an absolute a revolution rather than just an evolution. I think we're going to see a different Liverpool come next season. Dan, as always, absolute pleasure having you on. As always, we're going to end it up tonight there, folks. My name's Charlie Sadiva. I'm joined by Mitch. I'm joined by Dan. We will be back soon. We will be talking about more transfers. This is the LFC Transfer Room, and we will see you soon. Good night.